and welcome to Central Women Peaks. We're so delighted that you're here with us today, and I am just so grateful that we have an amazing young lady here with us today. We have Brittany, and she is from our Glendale campus. Yeah, so I want to thank you in advance for coming to share your story. And we have been focusing on peaks in our life, whether we're down in the valley really looking for peaks, because God always has peaks for us no matter where we're at, whether life is going glorious and wonderful, or when things aren't going so great, really trying to focus on those peaks that will help us get through those trying times. So Brittany's going to share one of her peaks with us today. So Brittany, without further ado, why don't you first start sharing a little bit about yourself so the ladies get to know who you are.
So, hello, I'm Brittany. I am a mom and a wife and a teacher. My husband and I, Scott, we've been married for 15 years. This May. I have 3 children. Gracelyn, she is 10. Micah, he's 7. And then Levi, our youngest, he's 3.
So you're busy.
Real busy.
Yeah. And a full-time teacher.
And then I'm
Yes.
a teacher. I teach gifted education. I'm at my elementary school. I'm a cheer coach, and I do student council, and I teach a section of yearbook. So there's just always something going on all the time.
That's amazing. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Because I'm a fellow educator, and so I do know that it takes teachers like you that definitely volunteer to do things, because there's not any money in doing it, or the cheer coaching. So, but just those times after school with students, you're really making a huge impact on their life. It's those coaching times as well, whether it's a sport or after school curricular activity, you're really impacting life. So I just want to publicly say thank you for doing the work. It's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
I enjoy it.
Yes, obviously, with your busy life and your family, so that's wonderful. So why don't you just share a little bit about your journey, your health journey, and how you're finding the peaks in those challenging times?
Yeah, so last year, lots of changes were happening in my life last year. I stepped into this new role as a gifted teacher. My husband actually stepped into a new role at his campus. He's also a teacher, so we're just crazy people around people's kids all the time. And I had lost a really dear friend in my church family, and I was just experiencing a lot of loss. And then my health started to decline, and I didn't really understand what was going on. I went to a doctor's appointment, and they did blood work and MRIs and lots of testing and questionnaires, and they told me I have something called Chiari malformation. And if there's any doctors listening, I'm so sorry I'm about to butcher this, but basically the way that I describe it to kids, because I describe it to kids so if something's going on with me, they understand it. My brain is too big for my skull. And so because of that, it creates just this crazy pressure. And it's like I have labor contractions, but in the back of my head. And so the pain is just crazy. And along with that, I experience a lot of brain fog. And so I'm used to talking all the time. And so my words, I have to pause often to try to find the word scissors or something crazy. Numbness in my feet, and just a slew of different things. And through all of that crazy, I see God at work in my life like I never have before. I always tell people the old Brittany, because he's doing a new thing.
Can I just ask, when were you diagnosed with this? When did it all come to fruition?
So I've been experiencing all of these things for about 8 years.
Oh, wow.
But the diagnosis didn't come an actual name to what I've been experiencing. It was around October of last year, so it's still fresh to me.
2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it's still new to me. But I continue to think about who I was before. It would have been devastating with all of this new, all of this loss, and then this diagnosis, and me feeling like I'm in this body that I don't know. This is not the body that I'm used to. I feel it's foreign to me. What are these feelings? What is all of this? I'm used to moving at a certain pace that I can't anymore. But I know that it's God, because the old me would have been crushed by this. The old me would have given up, quit certain things. Here I am taking on more things, and it's only him working in me. When I'm having a flare up, instead of like being in a ball and just being super angry, I'm praying the entire time. Like, oh, I guess this is the time we listening to worship now. So like, my husband knows, like, if he comes in the house and it's really dark and there's worship music on, something must be going on with her. And that's what it, like, I'm praying. I'm seeking him more than I ever have before. And I'm not saying, if you're experiencing pain, like, this is God putting you through the pain, but I see how he's captivated my attention. It's like he's shaking, like, I've been trying to speak to you this entire time. It's just me and you now,
right,
girl.
Right.
And I've just experienced him in crazy, crazy ways during this season that can only be explained as him. Yeah.
So when you first got the diagnosis, and you said the old Brittany, so what was the transition when you received the diagnosis, or had God been working in your life along the way that you now look back and go, oh, the last couple years or whatever, he was preparing me for this? Like,
for sure.
Okay, because he does work in mysterious ways.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to cry during this time. I'll be all right.
Okay, you can.
But if I do, look, hopefully there's tissues or something going on. Looking back, I can see all of the things that he was undoing that I was holding tightly to. I never saw myself as a prideful person, but now I see it as that, now that I'm on the other side. I was a school administrator. I was a lead for different grade level teams. I always had some type of leadership, and slowly those things were going away. Not because they were taken away, it's just I came to a place where I said, hey, I don't think I should be doing this anymore. A prompting, like, out of nowhere. Like, I loved what I was doing, and people, they would praise me for those things. But I could hear God saying, like, this is not for you. And so the principalship went away, the leadership went away. People were asking me to speak at professional developments, and can you speak at this thing, and can you lead this? And where I would always say yes, I could just feel God saying, not right now. And so all of my yeses had to be a not right now. And so all of those things were stripped away, and now I'm in this new teaching role where I'm used to being a part of a team of teachers. Like, it's you as a fourth grade teacher and the rest of your teaching team, to it's just me. Like, I am the gifted teacher on campus.
K through
8
gifted teacher.
Yeah.
Yes, with all the different grade levels. Yeah.
And I'm in this classroom, and I remember the first few weeks of school, I'm in this classroom, I'm by myself, and I've never experienced just this closeness with Jesus the way that I did. And looking back, I'm like, I thought I wanted this leadership. I thought I wanted people to hear me speak, but I'm talking about Jesus, so it must be right. But I could feel my pride in that, and how I enjoyed people telling me, you're such a good speaker. Now I can't even think of the word scissors. Like, you're such, you're such a good leader, and all of this patting me on the back, and all of that was stripped away, and it was just me in this room, and it's just me and God, and I'm praying in a way that I never have before. Because I have the time to do it. I have moments in my day where it's just me in my classroom preparing for my next group, where I can pray, like where I can be on my knees and pray, where I can, I see God, how he's placed certain women in my life, on my campus and at church, that otherwise in my busyness, I probably would not have connected with them in that way. And so I just see his hand, and where I thought it was a loss of a job, a loss of this, that, and that, it really was him preparing me for where I'm at right now. Because in the pain that I have right now, I could not have been experiencing this pain, in a classroom full of kids where you can't, you can't even step, you can't even step out to go to the restroom, let alone, be in a flare up and doing all of that, where I have the ability to be close to him in a way. Like, I can hear him now. in a way that I never have before. So I see where he's been at work this entire time.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So just being an educator myself, I do know the demands of being a leader in the education field, and the principal and assistant principal role is really demanding, and it can take a lot from you. And being a great leader, which schools need, I can see where that would have been difficult for you to step down on your own. Because it is a fulfilling role when you know that you are leading and you are helping adults, right? Also help children. You know, you have that impact. So really having the prompting and hearing God saying, I want you to go on a different journey with me, and you following that journey and getting the diagnosis, and instead of saying, oh, poor me, going, okay, Lord, now what? What do you want me to do now? And where are you going to use me now? Because he's using you in incredible ways, closer to students. He wanted you to be with little people. He wanted you to make an impact. Not that he doesn't want you to make an impact on adults, because adults watch us. You know, we're role models for adults watching us, whatever we're doing with kids. But just the impact of, I hear what you're doing, and how just children really need those incredible people in their lives to lift them up and believe in them. Just the world in which we live is crazy, right? And there's a lot of things going on, you know, in their homes or outside of their homes, or just anywhere, everywhere, right? You can be in a perfect home and still there's lots of stuff that our kids are bombarded with, you know? And so you just being that presence in their life, not even having to talk about God, because if you're in a public school, it's kind of difficult, right? But just having the presence of the Lord exuding from you with I mean, can't help but having the Holy Spirit there. Right? I mean, when you're praying, God is there, Jesus there, so you know there's no room for anybody else, for Satan or any evil things to come along the way and interfere. So the impact you're having on those kids is amazing. And then of course your own children, being a role model to them about going through tough times in life. I mean, wow, what a testimony of a great mother, right?
And you talking about my kids, I feel like I've been able to speak Jesus into their lives more during this time, where it's not crazy because it's God, and God's not crazy. He knows what he's doing. But just the car rides where I can be so present with them. Like, you know, this is what mommy is experiencing. You know, what does God say about this? Those conversations have been deeper and more passionate now than they ever have before. Just leaning into him more with my parenting and in my marriage. Just everything. Everything is different now. I'm experiencing him different now.
And what, you know, with your kids, like you said, when the pressure's so great, you turn the lights off and you have worship music on. But what a great opportunity for your kids to see their mom worshiping when she's in pain. Like, oh my gosh, like, I mean, that's just huge, right? With your children, and they're really blessed to have you, that's for sure. But one thing that I really want to point out, and again, you said pride, we all kind of struggle with our pride, right? But really, you know, what you shared is you made a choice. You know, God gives us free will and a choice. Like you said, at that time when you got your diagnosis, the old Brittany, and you still have the choice as the new Brittany, to feel sorry for yourself, to say, why me? You know, I was on the trajectory of being a superintendent. You know what I mean? Like, I know the path of assistant principal. You go to the district office, you could be assistant soup associate, you know, and then you lead a school district. Like, that is, you know, like the business world, that's the path. So you really could have chosen to say, what? No way, and be angry and be bitter towards what the Lord was doing, right? But again, you made a choice otherwise, and that choice has brought you so much peace and joy, and blessings for your family, and blessings for your kids at school. So that's amazing. So we all have choices, right?
We do.
And they're not always easy, because I can't imagine.
It's been completely different. And I think you actually said these words, saying like, okay, God, what are we going to do now? And I'm and my husband will attest to this, I need a list, I need a plan, what are we doing? Like, I don't like ambiguity.
I'm a list maker too,
And so this putting a complete kink in my plan of like, I was lifting weights, like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get my body right, look here. No, I mean, yes, maybe, but I can't even lift weights. Like, my muscles are not the same because of this. and the list of what I thought was going to happen is not happening, and changing those thoughts to, okay, Lord, what are we going to do now? Like, where are we going now? My mom, when growing up, she's like, well, we're on an adventure. Where's the Lord taking us today?
Yeah, I love that.
I appreciate hearing that growing up, because now I'm in the, God, we're on an adventure. What are we going to do today? And it's been simple. Where I thought it was going to be super difficult, it's been simple. It's showing up for Him. It's loving Him deeply and loving the people deeply that He's putting in front of me. And I've learned that during this season of, it doesn't matter the role, if it's my mama hat, my coach hat, just whatever hat that I'm wearing. I've always thought, okay, God, what is my calling? What is my gifting? And I feel like I'm not in my calling right now, but the calling really is to do what Jesus has called you to do, regardless of where He places you. It's loving Him and loving people. And so it doesn't matter, if I'm leading at a school, it doesn't matter if I'm leading at the dinner table. It really is, we're loving Jesus and we're loving the people in front of us. And how, what does love require of me in this moment?
Right.
And so
I love that.
that has been what I'm striving towards, what's on my mind in the morning, because some days are real hard and some days are easy. But if I can stay locked into, we're loving Jesus and we're loving people today, it doesn't matter where we're at.
Yeah. What a great reminder. I love that. That is such a great perspective. I think that some of us forget. It doesn't matter what our profession is. It doesn't matter what we do, whether we're work outside the home, inside the home, volunteer. It is loving Jesus and then loving people. I mean, it sounds simple.
Yeah.
But it's hard, right? Like, it's hard. So, but just, like Romans 12:2, just renewing our mind every morning. And it sounds like that's what you do. Every morning you renew your mind with what your focus is, loving Jesus, loving people, wherever you're at. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Well, Brittany, I want to thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And we have been kind of focusing on a verse, and it's Psalms 121, 1-2. And you just really made me think about it as you were sharing that. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? Right? And my help comes from the Lord, the maker of earth. So that's really what you've been doing, lifting your eyes up every day. And what a great reminder. So ladies, I just want to encourage you, no matter what you're going through, if you can just take away what Brittany does every day. She didn't say it was easy, but it's been an intentional part on her part and in her mind of really renewing her mind every day to focus on Jesus and focus on others. So whatever you're going through, ladies, I just encourage you to do that. And to find community, whether hopefully it's at Central, get into a Bible study or a community, because I heard you say community was important to you. You belong to a church family. So we just encourage you to do that, ladies. And again, thank you, Brittany, for being here. Yes, of course. And thank you, ladies, for joining us. And we will see you next week.